Here's why we should not privatize Social Security. Let's talk about it. Opponents of privatization say that retirees could lose their benefits in a stock market downturn, that many individuals lack the knowledge to make wise investment decisions, and that privatization does nothing to address the programs approaching insolvency. So let's talk about 10 reasons why privatizing Social Security is a bad idea. Reason number 1, privatizing Social Security would do nothing to solve its impending insolvency and would actually make things worse. The trust funds are destined for insolvency because the program's cost is increasing at a faster rate than revenue from payroll taxes. The situation will get even worse if a portion of each individual's payroll tax is diverted away from the Social Security trust funds and into individually controlled retirement accounts, shrinking the funding source for future retirees' benefits. If just 1% of payroll taxes had been diverted to private accounts in 1998, the trust funds would have been insolvent in 2015. It wouldn't be clear how private accounts would even be part of the solution. At best, they would function alongside of, in addition to needed fiscal reforms. At worst, they would exacerbate the system's fiscal woes. Reason number 2, private Social Security accounts will undermine the guaranteed retirement income provided by Social Security by putting people's retirement money at the whim of the stock market. During the 2008 financial crisis, the 3 main stock market indexes all dropped tremendously. The Dow Jones fell by 33.8%, the S&P 500 dropped by 38.5%, and the Nasdaq fell by 40.5%. Due to the boom and bust cycles of the market, those who retired during an economic downturn would be significantly worse off than those who retired during a boom. Reason number 3, many people lack the basic financial literacy to make wise investment decisions on their own. A 2015 survey published by USA Today revealed that only 39% of Americans know the annual percentage rate on their primary credit card, and almost 45% don't know what a credit score evaluates. Financial illiteracy is widespread among older Americans. In a 2009 study on financial literacy among adults over 50, only half of the participants could answer 2 simple questions on compound interest and inflation. Reason number 4, privatizing Social Security would dramatically increase the national debt. Transitioning to private accounts while continuing to provide benefits to current Social Security beneficiaries would leave a multi-trillion-dollar hole that would need to be filled by more government spending. This would require Washington to borrow at least $160 billion a year in the early years, increasing the nation's debt by 40%. The cost incurred during the transfer to private accounts would add $1 trillion to $2 trillion to the country's national debt, which could trigger an economic crisis. Reason number 5, privatizing Social Security would expand, not reduce, government bureaucracy. In 2014, Social Security paid benefits to 42 million retirees and their dependents. Creating and tracking this many individual private retirement accounts would generate more government bureaucracy and would require the hiring and training of tens of thousands of new government workers to oversee accounts and explain the system to millions of people. The administrative costs of the current system were less than 1% of the total revenue in 2014. Reason number 6, guaranteed benefits would be reduced significantly under a privatized system. In order to fund private retirement accounts, special insurance protections that are provided by Social Security, such as disability and the survivor's insurance, would need to be reduced. An analysis of privatization proposed determined that the diversion of payroll taxes to private accounts would reduce benefit levels by 44% below their 2005 levels by 2052. An average 15-year-old in 2005 who retires in 2055 stands to lose more than $160,000 of his scheduled benefits under Social Security privatization, and gain less than a third of that loss back from an investment in a private account. Reason number 7, if workers had to adopt private accounts, unscrupulous financial advisors could take advantage of novice investors. According to the FBI, there are 1,846 cases of securities and commodities fraud pending as of 2011. And some of the schemes defrauded several thousand investors each. Many of the victims were elderly investors. The Obama administration estimated that Americans lose about $17 billion per year on retirement investments that are arranged to benefit financial advisors at the expense of investors. After the UK introduced private accounts in the 1980s, unscrupulous salespeople advised millions of people to invest in risky personal pensions dependent on stock market returns. As a result of the losses incurred, the UK government had to pay out more than £13 billion in compensation to the victims. Reason number 8, privatizing Social Security will put billions of dollars into the pockets of Wall Street financial service corporations in the form of brokerage and management fees. Private Social Security accounts will be a boon to Wall Street, where banks and investment advisors could reach over $100 in fees for each account. Since the number of Social Security beneficiaries is expected to grow to more than 125.7 million people by 2090, Wall Street will have guaranteed access to a rapidly growing pool of customers courtesy of the federal government. Reason number 9, Social Security is highly efficient in comparison with private accounts. Social Security provides benefits through a centralized, highly efficient process administered directly by the US government. with an administrative overhead cost of less than 1%. Moving benefits into an individual private account creates a decentralized system that will have to take into account the full diversity of opinions, preferences, and expectations of individual investors, which may increase the program's annual administrative cost by more than 83%. And reason number 10, the accusation that Social Security has been raided by the federal government is misleading and does not provide a justification for privatizing the program. When there has been surpluses in the Social Security trust funds, that money has been invested in US government bonds that partially refund the running of the federal government. They spend that money on all various operations of the federal government. When you buy an investment like a stock or a bond, the entity that issues it usually spends the money you paid for that stock or bond. So what are your thoughts? Should we privatize Social Security? If you like this video, hit that like button, consider subscribing. I talk about money and everything related to it, so don't miss out. And as always, take care of your money.